Okay, so
Okay, Andrew, your next question.
Yeah, see here now. Do you have any plans now to go out with Phil McConnell?
Oh, yes. Field and I just talked a little while ago, as a matter of fact. Originally, the headquarters for China Eastern Airlines is in Shanghai. And I put a tweet out on Twitter that I alleged that the aircraft was electronically hijacked. And a Chinese guy came to me on Messenger, goes, "You don't want to go to Shanghai." They had a 80-day lockdown a while back, and he started showing me videos of Shanghai that made me think twice about wanting to go there. So that was a conversation I had with Field. I said, "Look, the Ministry for State Security, their CIA, is in Beijing. Let's go there instead." So I'm trying to, I wrote an email, a lengthy email to the Chinese ambassador to Pakistan 2 days ago. I haven't followed it up with a phone call yet, but you need an invitation to get in the country. And I'm just trying to make contact with some government person that will express interest in what we're saying and what we're doing so we can get over there. Because if I get over there and Field gets over there, then we can say, hey, look what this uninterruptible autopilot is capable of doing, and explain that to them. We can also get into 9/11, and that opens up a whole can of worms. So, the Chinese guy today said to me, "Come on, don't you think?" He says, "I know about the uninterruptible autopilot from Field McConnell tapes I've watched online. Don't you think the Chinese government knows about it too?" And I said, "I don't know, but I guess we'll find out once I get a hold of them." But there's so few people. When I interviewed these pilots on tape before we started the interview, they were clueless about the system. Nobody knows about it. They don't advertise that there's a system out there that's capable of taking control of the airplane away from the pilot. So there's a chance they don't know about it, but we're going to make sure. I mean, I'm not going to go all the way over to Beijing only to find out that they know about it already. But we don't want them to get away with what they did with Malaysia 370 or the German wings flight, or there's another one, Malaysia 17, and there's also another one, a Russian Metrojet in the Sinai a few years ago that they claimed ISIS planted explosives on, but the story doesn't jive with the wreckage and where they found it. They said it blew up at altitude, which would indicate that the wreckage was widespread over a big area like it was in Lockerbie, Scotland with Pan Am 103. But this is in a very concentrated area, which would indicate that the airplane struck the ground. It didn't blow up in the air. There's an excellent video. As a matter of fact, it's on the remote control page by a renowned 9/11 investigator and author named Christopher Bolin, where he goes into great detail. He did research on the flight recorder for this Russian Metrojet flight, and it's obvious somebody took control of the airplane. The way it wild gyrations, the pilots couldn't talk to anybody before it disappeared off the radar. So, yeah, we'll find. Go ahead.
Yeah, you was mentioning 3 planes, but there was 4 planes. There was another plane going straight down into the ground.
You mean on 9/11?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was United Flight 93 that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. That's a big controversy with everyone because there isn't very much wreckage at the hole they claim this airplane went into. As a matter of fact, plane parts were scattered over a 70-acre area, which would indicate the airplane came apart in the air. And some people say it was blown up. Others say it was shot down by U.S. fighters. So other people say, no, there wasn't even an airplane there. But I've talked to people that have done intensive research, and forensic pathologists have concluded that there were body parts that fit the passenger's DNA. So, and there were all these plane parts. So that's a big controversy, but our group doesn't go into that. We're sticking solely to the 3 flights that supposedly struck buildings and the hijackers that flew them, and say they couldn't have flown them. I mean, there's people that say no plane hit the Pentagon, it was a missile. Well, if that's the case, then there had to be a swap out of American 77 with a missile. And we contend if that's the case, then the uninterruptible autopilot took American Flight 77 somewhere else and did something to it, but we don't speculate on what that might be now. Field McConnell claims it was flown out over the warning areas off the east coast of the United States and blown up. And there's a female flight attendant that's written 3 books. Her name's Rebecca Roth. She's got a theory, and she sticks to it, that there was an airplane swap with another type aircraft over Stewart Air Force Base, because both the flights out of Boston crossed over Stewart Air Force Base at different times. And she claims the flights with passengers were remotely guided to Westover Air Force Base up in Massachusetts, and they were required to make phone calls before they snuffed them. So there's all kind of arguments out there about what went on with the airplane, but .org and look over all the pages there and watch the videos, you'll come to the same conclusions we have. So
Yeah, I have one question more, and
yeah,
that is about, there was an airplane going down in Ukraine too, where there were some journalists there, they was filming, and they said that the corpse on that plane, they had already started to rotten. So there
Yeah.
was, yeah. Is
Yeah.
that something you can talk about? Oh, it is, of course, it's only what you believe happened there or something.
More than one person said that. That was Malaysia Air 17 that supposedly strayed into hostile territory and was shot down. Okay, it took off out of Amsterdam. There's a author, investigative author named Declan Coran that I've befriended. He lives in New Zealand, and he's written like a 450-page book. I got on my hard drive that I haven't gotten around to reading yet, but he claims that the airplane that was the Malaysia Air 370 that we just talked about, that people speculate was remotely guided to Diego Garcia, was the same airplane that supposedly was shot down over the Ukraine. So he claims that the bodies from Malaysia Air 370 were the bodies on the ground in the Ukraine. So I really haven't gotten into that flight that much. There's some other people I know in Russia. One of the guy you know, Anders, that I know, he confirmed that with me, that there were bodies that were rotting, corpses that were rotting on the ground right after that crash. So
yes,
wow,
I've seen the videos myself, and it
okay.
looked really strange.
Yeah. Well, I trust nothing the U.S. government puts out. Most world governments put out, and I do my own research and draw my own conclusions. And my distrust of the United States government ended a long time ago, and they don't trust me. Every time I come into the States or leave, they know all about me. I'm stopped by the FBI and TSA for interrogation. But in these interrogations, the things they say about me, I know they know everything about me. As a matter of fact, the first time this happened to me was several years ago. I made reservations on Qatar Airways through Doha to Atlanta, and the very day I made that reservation, the FBI in Washington called my ex-wife in Washington and wanted to know everything about my trip. And I'm like, my sister gets a hold of me and says, "Hey, the FBI is looking for you." I go, "How do you even know about me?" Right? So I called the FBI in Washington and said, "What's up?" And they were very guarded, wanted to know how I found this information out, etc. And they wouldn't tell me anything. So when we got to Atlanta, we were going through passport control, and my wife went over to the foreigners line. I'm in the U.S. line, and a few minutes later, a man and a woman's escorting her over to my location, which indicates they knew what we looked like, knew we were coming on that flight. And he said, the FBI agent whips his badge out and says, "You got time for a few questions?" I go, "Sure, I was expecting you." So he took us over to a passport desk. Where an immigration officer was that didn't have a line and said, stamp their passports. And when the guy got in on the computer to look me up, he looked up at the FBI agent. He whipped his head around and goes, "You know, this guy's red, don't you?" I didn't ask what that meant, but I didn't think it was a good thing. And the FBI agent says, yeah, we know. And they took me in a room, and really all they wanted to know then was where I was going to be, point of contact, phone numbers, etc. And I thought, well, that was easy enough. And when we were leaving a month later, we had just cleared security, jumping out into a busy concourse, and we're walking in the crowd, and up behind us comes another FBI agent, TSA agent. And I thought, how did they even know what flight we were leaving on or what we looked like, right? So it kind of was spooky. And again, they asked if I had time for questions. And this time they took me in a room, and the first thing they said was, "Look, we just wanted you to know that we thank you for your 10 years of service in the U.S. Navy, and we respect your First Amendment freedom of speech rights. But have you ever been threatened?" I said, "No, why should I be concerned about that?" And they go, "No, we were just curious." Well, then they proceeded, this is how I knew, they proceeded to tell everything about me. They knew about my Facebook groups, what I said. I said, "Look, I'm very vocal about U.S. foreign policy, especially since 9/11 in the Middle East and South Asia, because it's all based on lies." And they were poker face there. They wouldn't acknowledge anything that I was saying as being true. But yeah, I know that they know I'm here doing well, especially after the letter writing I've done the last 20 months. They know what I'm saying, and they know I'm sitting here with a big mouth, a disenfranchised whistleblower myself, because I lost my job 18 years ago, amongst 200 million Muslims, saying there were no Muslim hijackers at the controls of the 9/11 airplane. So I'm sure that doesn't sit right with them. But look at my face. Does it look like I give a damn? I don't. I don't care. And I'm not intimidated by them either. There have been people. There's a guy, a pilot named Philip Marshall. He was a United Airlines 767 captain who had written 2 books on 9/11 and was about to publish a third one, when he told his neighbors, "Look, I'm being threatened." Well, his neighbors found the family dog and their 2 teenage kids shot to death in their California home, and him with a bullet in the head, and they claimed that it was a murder-suicide. So I know you can get hurt, because the people that did 9/11 were the most ruthless subhumans in the world, and it wasn't Bin Laden and 19 angry hijackers, okay? And they play hardball. So people say, "Well, you're safe over in Islamabad." No, I said, only costs 50. It's a poor country. It only costs $50 to get somebody whacked here. And this place is crawling with intelligence agents from all over the world. It's a hotspot. So I'm not safe here saying what I'm saying, but I don't have a death wish, but I'm not afraid to die either. There's people doing bigger things than I'm trying to do, and other guys working with me. I'm the public big mouth for this organization. There's people behind the scenes working with me, and we get together via the internet and discuss where we're going next. And Phil McConnell's one of those people. So
Do you think that you could be protected because your wife, she's an TV presenter at the Pakistani TV? Do you think that will help you?
I don't know, but the interior minister here handles all police all law enforcement in the country. And I've been toying, especially going to China, and what I've done here with writing a letter asking for some kind of protection in my home, because I mean, you for a few $100 you can get guards with machine guns outside your house. It's cheap, and I've thought of doing that, or getting a hold of the Interior Minister and say, can you get a cop car outside my house or something, because where I'm sitting right now, I'm a sitting duck. So
Yeah. We're gonna see if the girls here in the chat if they have any questions.
Alan?
So no, I don't have any question right now. It was very interesting to listen to everything about this. New information for me. So it's very
Well, the uninterruptible autopilot is real. I mean, it exists. It's a system that's out there that very few people know about. So go to the website and read it, watch some of the videos there, and see what you conclude.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
Thank
having me
you.
on. It's nice meeting you, even though we're miles apart.
Yes.
And thank you, Anders.
Yes, thank you, Anders, for inviting.
No problem, no problem. Yep, thank you, Dan. And I know it's late now at your place.
Yeah.
It's probably over 1 o'clock in the night there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to interview you or listening to you.
Yeah,
And,
I told you I was a blabbermouth.
Yeah, I know that from since before.
Yeah.
But then we are two.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for coming and letting us know about this. And we speak more later then.
Okay, very good, Andy.
Yes.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank
bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.